I set it up yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, Joe will be in for this. You'll be fine.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I didn't actually tell you.
No, live's fine. I just, like I said, it was a good surprise. This is good. It's good to be back live. It's nice.
This is good. What are you up to anyway? What's your Friday doing?
I have been pretty busy this morning, but then I've got might have another tat booked in for this afternoon. So busy day.
Wow. Day. Bad boy Joe with the bad boy.
Once you get one, eventually you just look at yourself, you're like, fuck, I've got 10 now. It just happens. I don't know how it happens, but anyway.
Is it actually a thing? A lot of people say, I don't have one. I don't have a tattoo, but everyone who gets their first always says is it like a bug?
It's not a bug. I wouldn't call it a bug. So I got my first one like 2-3 years ago, and then there was a long gap. And then I was like, oh, like a second one would be cool. And then I'm like, oh, third one would look pretty cool there. And then like a fourth, that's a cool design. And then all of a sudden you've got like 10. So I don't know if it's a bug. I think you just kind of like, yeah, I don't really know how to describe it. But yeah.
Fair. Yeah. No, I haven't got one yet. I've been running with the you don't put bumper stickers on a Bentley line for a little bit too long. So yeah. I'm gonna need to get one soon. I mean, I'll get one for sure when we win the flag. I know.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. We'll all be getting one. But yeah, that bumper sticker on a Bentley line. My favorite retort to that when someone says that to me is, "Well, you're built like a Hyundai gets." So I don't know what. I don't know what you're hanging on to there, to be honest. So, and with that, let's begin.
True. Got to be a Bentley before you can call yourself a Bentley. I like it. Fair. Got a few watching. Hello, everyone. Chills says Rowan, Davey, big fan of the Almost Blues Brother Twitter countdowns.
Thank you.
Lucinda, Andrew's watching from New Zealand. Amazing. Just on these Twitter countdowns.
Yeah.
This is a classic example of just chipping away and watching the compound effect take place the longer you do something.
Yeah.
Classic example.
This is year 2 that I did it. Like year 1 was barely any engagement, which was it was what it was. I didn't even do it for that. Like I'm just bored in the off season. I need something to do, right? And I'm counting down to, like, that's usually what I would do outside the podcast is I'd count down and I'd like look at how many days left, and I thought, fuck it, like this will be good. But yeah, year 2, it's definitely taken off. Big thank you to the Collingwood supporters that just get the engagement numbers up every day, which is nice. So, you know, they think they're doing us a disservice, but they're actually doing us a service. It's good.
Yeah.
The traffic for those posts is all time.
I think they think they're offending you, and they couldn't be more off the mark.
Yeah, no, not even close. It's the best. I look forward to waking up to those comments. It's amazing. That's amazing.
What I also love about that whole dynamic, I'm going to be honest, I think at the start I was like, oh, God, we've given him fuel. And then now I've realized, like, the next season comes around and now they've got all the evidence on there. So now we have the right of reply when we win the flag. And let's be honest, we're louder online.
If they think they're going to just disappear when we win number 17, they are sorely mistaken. It's you know what? There is a lot of banter. Like, obviously, it can go. You can cross a line. I try not to. I don't think I have at any point. But yeah, it's good for the rivalry, is it not? It's good. Like, you know,
the rivalry's gone digital. The rivalry's gone digital.
Of course, you know, this was what, you know, even if we didn't say what we said on our shows, and, you know, got after round 20 after the win, and, you know, whoever it was, me, you, Polo, whoever, if none of us said any of that, they'd still come at us regardless. Correct. Like, if there was nothing prior to this, they would still come at us. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
I'm just happy somebody took the I'm happy that you took the attention away, like put it on you. Like last year I had the written and the stars clip sent to me. Oh, I can't even tell you how many times I've had it said to me. So I'm happy with that. You're doing me a massive favor.
They're creative. I don't know if you've seen the Carl Stefanovic meme that they made of him laughing while I'm saying my little bit about keep this receipt, this and that, blah blah. Anyway, hey, I'll give it to them. The creativity is good. It makes me laugh. So anyway, but yes, thank you for following on the countdown. It's good fun every morning trying to find a stat.
Yep, it is. So I don't know. I reckon we might get some of them in the chat today just to spice things up.
Hopefully, no problem.
Yeah. So those of you who are here, we're going to do 5 more previews. So we're going to do Ches, Marchbank, Docherty, Newman, and Acres. We'll do them live. We'll take a little break in between and just sort of talk amongst ourselves and just hang out. You guys watching, like, what happens in your world now? Are you guys back at work, or is it like still holidays? Joe, you're back?
Not yet. I'm back on Monday, so I've got a few more days, and then
Yeah.
back into it Monday, which is come around really quick.
All right, cool. All right. Well, yeah, we're going to do some previews. These will be like the raw ones. So if you want to get involved while we're talking about each players, I'll put your comments up while Joe and I are actually doing the preview. And then after this stream ends, I'll download them. I'll add some highlights. I'll actually edit the videos, and then I'll re-upload them individually, and you can watch them again with highlights. So, Joe, should we start with Adam Cerra?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm having a look here. Adam Cerra, born on the 7th of October, 1999, played 116 games, debuted in 2018. I can't believe it's taken us this long to talk about Adam Cerra.
Yeah, you said that when you sent me that message. I was like, yeah, wow, I can't believe he wasn't one of the first ones to be done.
I was looking at the list of players left to talk about, and I'm like, how has it taken 20 previews to get to Cerra?
Yeah. No, he's a Rolls Royce in that midfield. That is, I think, the best way to describe him. Like, you look at our midfield, you look at that group, you got the grunt, you got the polish with Walshy and the class there, but Adam Cerra is just an absolute Rolls Royce in the middle for us. We actually don't have another player that can do what he does. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah. So I think we've had 2 seasons with him now. The first, I never really watched him at Freo. That's the truth. And so last year I was super impressed and almost taken aback with how developed he was in his contested game. And I thought 22 was a really good example of that. Then he went up another level in 23. And let's be honest, I think he's one of a handful of players that was consistently great, not good, but great all year long. Like when the team was, not performing well, I know it is a team sport and all that matters is the way the team's going. But in terms of we're all flat, somebody's got to step up and play well. He did, even in the tough times.
For sure. And in the toughest times this year, he was usually a highlight on the night that we spoke about throughout the year. Like, at the lowest of the lows, he was still chipping away and doing what he does. But he really, really broke out when that team defense, that dynamic started to really show across the field. His two-way running is as good as anyone else, if not the best on our list, in my opinion. It's as good as what Walshy's is, back and forth. You said you didn't watch him much at Freo. I watched him a little bit, and I do remember that they played him behind the ball a lot. So it probably does help when you develop as a youngster behind the ball. It does allow you to see the field ahead of you for what it is, allow you to set up the play, like we've seen him do now out of the midfield for us. But it also keeps you accountable in the defensive half of the ground, and you can see that with Ches too. So he's so important to what we do now. Like, he's if he's not number 2 behind Cripper in terms of importance in that midfield. I know Walsh is Walsh, and I get that, but I still don't think we've got a player on the list that can do what Cerra does. He hits the scoreboard. He sets us up going forward. He runs back as hard as anyone in that midfield group the other way. So without him, it's hard to find a replacement on the list at the moment, and it's going to make it tough if he's not there week in, week out. And we saw the impact that he had, or the impact that he couldn't have when he was out. And we did sort of struggle for a couple of weeks there in the back half of the year, where I think it was after the Collingwood game when he sort of did his, hamstring from memory.
Half time, wasn't it? I feel like it was. I'm looking at it here. He played every game, except 19. Came back for Collingwood. He had 20 touches at the half. I think it was a hammy. That's when he actually did the hammy.
Yeah.
And it was a little disappointing because he played so well when the team wasn't going well. Then we'd figured out our form. Then he gets injured. And he wasn't poor in the finals by any stretch, but he still wasn't himself. And that is an exciting part. moving
Yeah, I
forward.
mean, he kicked a massive goal in that elimination final for us, which a lot of
Yep.
people forget. Like that was a huge moment in that game because Sydney looked like they were starting to really come at us, and it sort of stemmed the flow a bit. But you're right, he didn't look himself in terms of what we saw prior to the injury, which was another level that he'd never reached. And like we were talking, there was chat about him being all Australian and how many Brownlow votes is he going to get? He's put together this block of 8 weeks. It's just phenomenal. Like he's the best midfielder in the team at the moment. But yeah, I'm just excited to see Ches again next year. I think he's really going to start hitting his prime in a midfield that's going to start hitting their prime at the same time. But it's just exciting. I can't
Yeah.
see him taking a backward step from here. Not after the development we saw last year.
Yeah. He's never, to me, he's never been sporadic in terms of he's either really good or his poor games are really poor. I think he has a really nice equilibrium about him. He's got this cool, calm, and collectedness under pressure. He does the basics right. I actually think the more he and Sam Walsh play together, the more they're going to complement each other, the better that dynamic will get. And every team has a midfield with the 1-2 punch. I don't know how you view our midfield. You could argue it's Cripps and Walsh or whatever, but I actually think when I watch Cerra with Walsh together work off each other, that is when I'm looking at the highlights and so on and so forth, that is the part where I can see a bit more growth and a bit more improvement with some more continuity together.
Oh, for sure. And there was a lot of chat around, Cripps needs to start hitting the scoreboard more. I don't think he does, to be honest. Like he's an inside midfielder. He actually doesn't have to do that as long as Walsh, number one, takes that step and hits the scoreboard 15 to 20 times, and Cerra does the same thing next year. If you can get between 30 and 40 goals combined between those two, good luck. Like you're not stopping us.
No.
You can't have this expectation that every midfielder is going to kick 10 goals in a season for us. It's just not. It's not realistic, right? I would struggle to think of a midfield group outside of maybe the Bulldogs in recent years that you can go through each player and they hit the scoreboard consistently. But if you can get 30, 35 goals between Ches and Walsh,
that's huge.
That's all you can ask for. That's huge.
That is huge.
That's huge. That's huge. You don't need anyone else to really chip in from the midfield if they're doing that. And they're the two. They're the two. Because Hewitt's not going to hit the scoreboard. Cripps, as much as we all want to see him kick 20 goals and have another Brownlow year, it's probably not going to be the case unless he spends a lot more time forward. Walsh and Cerra have that layer to their game, and they've shown that consistently now.
Yeah. And I think they are going to be important in us getting our improvement for our entries inside 50, because Ches is a great distributor when you get him in the right space. I think Walsh in space is as well. And, we've been talking about forwards during these previews. All Carlton supporters know that our entries inside 50 can improve. He and Walsh are the two that I think are crucial in leading that from the midfield.
For sure. 100%. Agree.
Where do you see him as a leader? Because I think he already has leadership qualities, just the way he carries himself. But what does the next 12 months look for him? Just sort of like, Chez's place within the club from your perspective.
2024?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's definitely a future leader of the club in some form or capacity, no doubt. I don't think we need to see him in a leadership role just yet. I think let him focus on his footy. Like we've got established leaders in Cripps and Wiedering. I'll throw Docherty in there, even though he's not in a completely formal leadership position in terms of a vice captain or whatnot, but he's been there before. Everyone looks to him on field. And Walshy obviously is the other vice, right? So you've already got one of the young midfielders that are sort of coming through as a vice captain. You've got Wiedering who's established in the back line. Cripps is going to be captain until he retires at this point. I don't think Cerra needs to take on that formal leadership position to show that he's a leader. And I think the way that he's going to show that he's a leader is by doing what he did during games last year and just breaking games open. And where everyone can look to him, whether you're a player or a spectator, and go, what are you going to do for us here? Because we're in a bit of strife, and he'll get us out of it. That's what my next 12 months with Ches, I'm hoping, looks like, is that he can keep doing what he did and add that layer of late in games or in clutch moments, he's there. And he's the one that you look to, like with Walsh, where we go, it's one or the other. Because if you've got both of them in those fourth quarters where you need a bit of a spark, or late in the third, or whatever it may be, if you've got Walsh, which we know we do, but then you add Cerra to the mix, teams can't stop that. You can only put so much time into one player. You can't put it into two. So, yeah, I think that's where his leadership is going to shine, is on field.
When you go back through the season and you realize, particularly that last 4 to 6 weeks, let's just remove the West Coast game because obviously they were struggling in 23. We played some good teams, like really good teams, without both Cerra and Walsh, and won those games. The Collingwood game, well, Walsh didn't play. Ches, we mentioned, came off at halftime, subbed out. The Melbourne game, the second time we played them, neither of them played. Still won the game. The St Kilda game, I believe, both didn't. Yeah, they both didn't play. I don't know. When I think of Cerra and I think of this conversation about what we didn't have and we still winning games, gets me way too excited, overly excited, but rightly absolutely. So, because this guy's class.
Yep, I'm with you. Well, 100%. Like, I think excitement is the word with Ches. Like, we're only just scratching the surface with him. That's the best season that he's had to date, and he's only 23, right? Yep. Like, he's hitting his straps over the next 3 to 4 years, which is our premiership window now, is the next 3 to 5 years. So it's, yeah, we are in a very fortunate position with some of the players that we've got on our list coming up in the next 3 to 5 years. Very, very fortunate. I'm not taking this for granted. No way.
Well, Reese has got him top 3 in the BNF for 2024. It's so hard to tell, but where would you place him if you had to get the crystal ball out and predict where he ends up?
Was he 5th this year? He was 5th this year, right? And he missed games.
Yeah, 5th or 6th. I think Cripps was 5th.
Okay, and he missed games. Struggled to perform early like they all did. So yeah, I think top 3 is a good call. I think if he finishes top 3 in the BNF, like that's what you're expecting. That's the next leap for him. Is like you've got to have that year, not necessarily win it and be the number 1 player on our list because we've got so many of them. But yeah, if he can finish top 3, that's a phenomenal year.
Mm-hmm. And I also think it was important that I believe now he would be completely settled at the club as a Carlton man. You might need 1 season, maybe 2, but definitely not 3 to settle in and feel a part of the fabric. And I think he is definitely now a part of the fabric of this new era of Carlton team that we watch every week.
Yep, and we get to watch him for 10 more years, which is fantastic.
So good. So good. Well, ladies and gents, let us know what you think in the comments below about Adam Cerra, where he is, reflect a little bit on him, and how you see his 2024 playing out. Cerra. Quality's in the house. I missed this. Cerra will be the unsung best on ground for several games this year. Yeah. He's got that Hewittness about him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, dominates games, but the others take a little bit more of the spotlight.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Oh, dynamic. I said this. I've been saying this for the last few weeks. I haven't said it on camera, though, but we are through 2 of the 3 most important weeks of the year with touchwood. I'm not jinxing things. All I'm saying is, you need a bit of luck this time of year.
Yeah, I think that's behind us. I know there might be, like, you can be unlucky, but I've got this feeling that dark cloud that used to hang over our head come preseason, like, oh my God, who's it going to be? I don't have that feeling anymore.
It was the Christmas week.
Yeah,
injury. Honestly, that's what it was. It was Docherty, Walsh, Cottrell, Williams. You know.
Yeah. No, I don't have that feeling this year, which is nice.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't have that feeling because of the next bloke that we're going to talk about, who there's no news on, and it's like he's usually the one where we're like, is he even alive? Like, have we spotted Marchie? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Marchie, let's talk about him. So, it's a fascinating case study. He is born on the 7th of December, 1996. He's played 60 games, and it's not due to a lack of ability. It's just due to a lack of availability over the years. Joe, you nailed it on the head just then. Like, we we get to preseason usually in the last 4 years, and we're like, Marchbank, maybe we just, don't talk about him for a little bit because we're just not sure. Whereas we finally got to see him back on the park, and, so good for nobody more than himself.
Yeah. And had his best game for the club in a prelim final.
Yeah.
Like that was without a doubt the best game he's ever played for this club, for this football club in his career. And that's with, a lack of another preseason. Didn't get a hell of a good run last year. So he's one of the first picked in my back line for 2024, based on how he finished and based on the fact that he's getting through preseason unscathed, which is fantastic to see. If he can string together a full year, I don't think we fully comprehend what he's capable of doing for our back six. That's my thought on Marchie.
Yeah. I've always looked at him, and I've been a bit shy to say it because, sometimes you don't want to be too wild. I still believe, and I will continue to believe, he is an all-Australian talent. I genuinely believe that because of his ability to read a ball in the air. I remember his first few seasons at the club, and there was a piece. I don't remember if it was a video piece or a written piece, but I remember finding out about when he was growing up, and he used to do this thing when he was training with himself. He would put a ball over a tin shed, and then you couldn't see the ball coming off the roof. So he would have to read it quickly as it came out. And that is his A1 talent, his ability to read where the ball's going to be in the air. Yep. You definitely need a few games to get that back once you've missed so much footy. Plus you've got the physical nature of his body and getting through that. So we see 8 straight games from Caleb Marchbank to end the season. So he plays those final 8 games in a row, which remarkable. Plays a crucial part in the prelim, as you said, but more so the finals. It's just a preseason, isn't it? It's a healthy preseason, and then he's a lock in the 22 for me if he gets a full preseason.
I'm telling you now, he's one of the first picked. It's Wiedering, and then it's Marchbank as your key defensive post, and then you got McGovern. So if those three can put together 20-something games between them, combined next year, that's something that we've never seen. We've never seen Wieders and Marchbank play more than 8 games together in our back line in a season.
Wow.
In the 10 years they've been on the list now? That's crazy. That's insane. And then to see how he finished the season with that lack of continuity, mate, he could well and truly, by the time we get to September next year and the season's done and dusted, he could be one that we're looking at going into first week of finals, he's so important that if we lose him or if he doesn't perform, we'll likely be under a lot of strife in that back six. And you saw that against Brisbane. He got us out of so many situations against the Lions. I only just recently watched the replay. I brought myself to actually watching it.
Oh, you got through through the 4 quarters?
I did. And he was, without a doubt in my mind, our best on that day. I know Walshy got the votes. I get it. But Caleb Marchbank, what he did that day in that environment and under that sort of pressure in a prelim final was phenomenal. So, yeah, I'm well and truly on the Marchbank train now for 2024, based on how he finished.
Yeah. At some point, the discussion will turn sometime in the next few months before the season starts. It'll turn to who's going to break out and who's going to be most improved and who's going to blow up and who's, primed for a big year. I generally look at a player's last 6 to 8 weeks leading into the end of a season to see how they go the year after when I try and pick such a player. And I zoomed out with him because you kind of have to. So he plays 13 games in 2019, and that's where he hurts himself really badly. He had the neck brace.
Yeah.
It might have been for 6 months. It was a long time he was in a neck brace. Then he plays 0 games in 20, 0 games in 21, 4 games in 22, and then the 8 in 23. If we're looking at Marchbank at the end of 24 and we're seeing 20 plus games next to his name, how much of a difference does that make to the team?
It's huge. It's massive. The one thing that I really want to see with him in terms of improvement, if if that's how you label it. Intercepting and reading the play off the ball is phenomenal. He doesn't have to improve there. We do need a second foil for Weeders still as a big body. And I think if he can put some more size on this preseason and he can come into the season looking really strong, it may just take a little bit of pressure off Weeders in the one-on-one situations every now and then. Now, I'm not saying that he can't win a one-on-one. I think he's more than capable. It's just that consistency of making sure that in your contested one-on-one situations, you're not a liability in that sense. So that's probably the only thing that I really want to see coming through the preseason and in the first few preseason games. Can he become a little bit more one-on-one to help Weeders in that aspect? But mate, if he just continues on the way that if for nothing else, and he just continues on the way that he finished 2023, he's going to be huge. He's going to be huge for us. I honestly don't think a lot of us have realized how much we've missed that sort of a player in the back line up until when he started to come in.
Yeah. The image of Caleb Marchbank at his best for me is when he's taken those intercept marks, the flight of the ball. I still remember 2017, 2018, 2019, at that 18 possession, 8 to 9 mark per game type defender, which like you don't pin your opinion on a defender based on their offense, but he gives us offense. And we're a team that likes to transition the ball from defense to offense as quickly as we possibly can. And that's where I think he can really help us. And I don't know, for me, he's one of the big rises in 24, provided he's available. I really think that top 5 BNF finish is something he can do.
Yep, for sure. For sure.
Then there's this other part to the story. And I don't know if it's a misconception, but let's unpack it. A lot of opinion sits with it's either Marchbank or Kemp. Do you sit in that group?
No, I don't think I don't subscribe to that sort of comparison in our backline. Like we've got so many of those types of players. Like Kemp could come in for anyone, really. Like could be Kemp and McGovern, or it could be Kemp or Newman. Like they could all play very similar roles. I don't think, I think the question more is, can you play McGovern, Marchbank, Wiedering, and Kemp all at the same time in that backline?
Right.
I think that's more the question. And I don't think you can. Like, I think that's probably too tall or too one-dimensional. Like, because you've got to then fit Newman. You've got to fit Sard. You've got to fit Docherty. You've got to fit Williams. Like, that's deep. So, I mean, it depends, right? Like, they do look at Oppo too. So if the opposition's a bit taller up forward, maybe you can play all 4 on any given week. But I don't think consistently you're going to see all 4 of those in there. Yeah.
That's a watch this space. I'm fascinated to see how that dynamic works, because all those names you mentioned, maybe if even just for argument's sake, if you say Doc's a midfielder and you don't put him in that conversation, just for the sake of the argument, you still got Boyd, you still got Chincotta.
Yep.
These are guys that played in the prelim, like they got there. So, Caleb Marchbank available means depth, because without Caleb, we needed others to step up and get some experience, which they did. So it's a big year. It's a big year for Caleb Marchbank. I'm excited to see a fit and available Caleb Marchbank, and we'll go from there. Ladies and gents, those of you watching at home, what do you think about Caleb Marchbank as we enter season 2024? Yes, I forgot Cowan. I didn't even mention Cowan. I don't know if Cowan ready to play. Is it, or is it just like hold the brakes?
No, I think pump the brakes. Like, and then you got Billy Wilson as well now. Like he could stream off the halfback line at any point through the midfield. So we've got a shitload of depth now. Like that's, I think from that discussion, if you want to take away one thing, it's looking at that back half of the ground and going, how do you even fit half of these blokes in? Like Boyd, Chincotta. I'd love to have him in my starting 22 come round 1, but I just can't say it. Not with Williams fit now. Like it's too hard. It's too hard to fit them all in.
When I watched the prelim, the changes to the side that if everything was going our way, the changes to the side that I was thinking of was Boyd and Chincotta out, Williams and Kemp in, which meant we did play Wiedering, Kemp, McGovern, and Marchbank. So, but Brisbane is, like you said, Brisbane's one of those teams where you can probably do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
For sure.
I don't know.
Like
I don't know.
you probably couldn't do it against the Collingwood. They're not that tall. Not you need
True.
more. You need to be more dynamic, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, look, these are good problems to have, man. Like, and you know what? As I'm not saying this to say like we're going to win the flag, although, right? But the point is, as Carlton supporters, we've had to sit and watch other teams have this exact problem for how long? Like Geelong, Richmond, like they get so deep that all these players start to leave because they've got no spot in the team. Like, have a look at us now. Take your Carlton hat off and just look at it from a footy perspective, objectively. We're so deep across every line on the ground that we now have that problem that other teams that have won flags, played in prelims consistently over the last 10 years, that we've had to watch and go, oh my God, they've got so much talent. That's us. And it's not top. I'm not talking top end. All of a sudden, like that middle band, for whatever reason, after that Gold Coast game, exploded. And we had these players that weren't C graders anymore. They were pushing A grade and they'll be like consistently B grade. So it's crazy. This is a crazy problem to have because it's not something I can ever remember us having in my life. It's ridiculous.
Sounds like fucking January, mate. We can't be beaten.
No, I know, but like it does. But this is real this time. Like this isn't just us pumping our tires. Like this is real, man. This is crazy. This is crazy.
This is honestly what it is.
Yeah.
There are no list cloggers.
No, there's not. Like there's literally not. I could not delist a player from this list at the moment. I would struggle.
That's on the senior list. Yeah.
Yeah. I would struggle.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, in one off season, we remove O'Brien, Dow, Fisher, Plowman, Curnow, who, represent the 2018 era. Rightly, wrongly, they just do. The era where we had drafted these guys or picked them up and so sure that they were going to be a part of the future, and to make the decision to just sort of like cut it where it was and move forward and regenerate, it is a monumental move. And those are the names that were getting thrown up. Let's be honest. Either 1 per week or 2 per week or 3 per week. That group of players with just the name, and Honey as well, you throw in there. Nothing against them personally, but
we've got one of the deepest lists in the AFL going into 2024. It's scary, man. It is so scary.
Damn.
It's scary because I don't want to get hurt, and I feel like this is setting me up to get hurt because it's like now there's so much expectation. Like there's so much now. Like it's real. We made a prelim. We're not talking about making finals. We got there. Like we won finals. We made a prelim. Probably should have played in the grand final if we didn't run out of legs. Like this is scary shit now. Like this is really scary.
We could get hurt, but I just can't imagine being more hurt than what I have been prior to 2023. I just can't. Look, if we're hurt because of like finals losses that are just heartbreaking and unlucky and you lose by a kick, then yes, obviously that's tough. But would you rather your problems be losing in finals and not even like being close to making it?
Yeah, exactly right. And that's probably the more realistic outcome at this stage.
How are you going to hurt a Carlton supporter in the 2000 era? We're already dead, mate.
Yeah,
how can you? What are you going to say that's going to embarrass a Carlton supporter in 2023? We've already lived through it.
We're doing player previews, and this is bringing me to life. Like we're doing player previews in January, and this is what gives me life these days. Like, I died a long time ago. That's it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. This is a guy I want to talk about now. This is, I don't know what you label him. He's just a champ. Sam Docherty. That's Sam the man. 17th of October, 1993. That means he's 30 years old, in his dirty 30s, 167 games, has assumed the role, I would say, of Cade Simpson. Just the spiritual one that I think Cripps has a little bit of it as well.
Yep.
But Doc, I don't know him day to day personally as a man. Like I've met him a few times and he's, but I feel so connected to him. And I think we all do.
Yeah.
what we've been through sort of together with someone who we watch play footy every week, it's a really interesting relationship with him, and it's just all love. It just radiates every time I think about him or watch him play.
There will be no other player come that grand final day when we finally win a flag, number 17, with this list. There will be no louder a roar and no amount of buckets to catch the tears falling from all of our faces when they announce number 15, Sam Docherty, and he gets up there and he gets his medal. Mate, he defines, like you spoke about Simo, but I think Doc's taken it to another level. Like we've had some heart and soul players across the years, Simo, Cruiser, and whatnot in our generation, but I think Doc, it's so far beyond heart and soul. Like, it's a joke. I think we still take for granted how much he went through and came back without missing a step. He did not miss a beat.
No,
like, mate, it's insane. It is insane the level that he returned to as quickly as he did. So, yeah, there's not much to say about Doc. What do you say? What do you say at this point?
There was a moment in the semi-final. Obviously, he hurt his shoulder. I was sitting level 2, sort of right above where it happened. And I remember thinking in the moment, oh well, it's just one of those things. It's not our year. We're not meant to win this game. Doc's about to go off, and that's his season done. And I said the word divine intervention that night a lot of times, and a lot of people think it's because of that Akers goal. But it was like Doc, his ability to just, no matter what, that shoulder could have been broken, shattered, he would have come back on. And I think it was poetic that he kicked the ball inside 50.
Not even that. He set up the Motlop goal just prior as well. So if he's not there, the last 2 goals of the game that we kick in that semi to win the game, if he's not there in that position, may not ever happen. Which is crazy to think. And it was literally on a knife's edge. His shoulder was hanging out of its socket. We all saw it. So yeah, that's poetic, that shit, to go back.
He has a way of popping up in critical moments. First goal of the final series for the club after how long we were out of finals. It's him. Kicks those long goals. Round 1 against Richmond, I remember 2022, kicks long goals. He kicked a goal against the Lions in the prelim, which got us up and about. That's where I actually thought we were making the grand final.
Set up Cotters, set up the opener as well. Handball block. Like, he's finding his way into these scenarios, which we never really saw Doc, because he was an interceptor, right? He was off half back and he sat deep, and he was usually that sort of quarterback from the back half of the field. But now that he's pushed further up the ground, he's having massive impact in the forward half, like a huge impact in big moments.
Yeah. Let's unpack that. So I think with Doc, what we are going to see, just reading between the lines of little snippets here, I don't know if we look at him anymore as a player in the back 7 in 2024. We lost a couple in the midfield who were traded or removed from the list. We've brought in a couple of youngsters. Is Doc a midfielder now? Full stop. I mean, he can do it. He can go anywhere. And if we need him behind the ball, we can put him there. But I feel like we start 2024 with Doc as a midfielder.
When you say midfielder, though, what role are you thinking?
So the rotation that you see Cottrell play on the wing, maybe rest forward a little bit. I feel like I saw Doc creeping forward more and more as that back part of the year got to us. Maybe that was because we were missing Sam Walsh for a period of it, but I feel like they were experimenting with him mid-forward more than what they were defender midfielder.
Yeah, they definitely did. I mean, I think he's definitely we're going to see him a lot more in the midfield for sure. I've got a slightly different philosophy, and I feel like he still needs to be that wing defender for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not, obviously we just said that he can have massive impact in the front half of the ground. We've seen it. Like, when he floats forward and through the midfield, and that's fine. If that's a role that he's going to play, I'm more than comfortable. But he's just so reliable behind the ball. Like, and the way that we structure up and our defensive style and the philosophy around all of that, I still think he adds a lot of value behind the footy, like so defense into midfield rather than midfield forward. There's so many situations he's gotten us out of behind the footy that I don't know if I've got that trust yet in a back 6 or 7 without him.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
I think no matter where he plays, he will always be behind the footy. So if it's in the midfield, he will be that defensively minded midfielder. If he's in the half forward line, he will be at the back of stoppage. Because of his
probably
ability.
more so. It's probably more so like the role Newman played for us throughout the year. That's so sitting at the back of the stoppage, going forward. That there for me would be a perfect role for Doc to play. I think that's A1. Yeah, if that's what you're sort of saying, I'm with you.
Yeah. I mean, with Williams coming in to that, he's definitely going to be in that back 6, back 7. And with the tricks that we saw Doc show us in the final series, what it does tell us is there's flexibility amongst them all. Because you mentioned Newman, he's definitely one that started pushing up in the latter parts of the season a little bit more. We know Saad does it already. Williams will come in. We know he'll do it already. Doc is I just get the sense that there's a new layer to the way he's going to be performing in 24 and a new way that he's going to be performing his role more than anything.
Yep, for sure.
So, yeah, equality. Docherty did do that on occasion. It was mostly Newman, but he was the extra pair of hands a few times. Yeah. It's number 15, Sam Docherty, lifting up the cup. Can't be doing that, mate. Man, I shaved my head. We shaved our heads.
Yeah, a lot of people did. We donated. Like that was unifying. That united the club before all of this stronger together stuff. Like that was the turning point. Was, you know what? Like, I don't know. It just that put a lot into perspective for me as a fan of this club.
Yeah.
Like as bad as it got on field, in that few months, it was like, fuck, like this guy's he's human, and like we love this bloke, and yeah, it was unifying. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, when we talk about, the essence of the Carlton Football Club and what makes Carlton so special, there's so many examples that come to my mind. But the Doc shave your head for Doc period is what separates us from most clubs. The way we got around that and the noise we made around that. I am the most vain human when it comes to hair. I would never shave my head. Ever. But it wasn't a question when it came to doing it for Doc. It wasn't even like, it might look like this. Nah, got to do it. Yeah. So that's Sam Docherty. We love him. We're looking forward to, seeing out this latter part of his career, because that's ultimately what it is, and you can't take him for granted. But those of you watching at home, how do you see Sam Docherty's role in 2024? Do you see it evolving, or do you see it being much of what we've already come to expect? Let us know in the comments.
Give me 1 second. I think a mate of mine has just rocked up. I'm just going to let him into the house, and then I'll be back. Give me a sec.
Bring him in, mate. No worries.
No, he hates footy. Hates footy. Does he? Give me a sec.
All right. Jolly Pet Drive. I love you too. It's all love. Reese, they aimed to raise 5K, ended up raising over 200,000 at Carlton. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. But I can't help but feel his role will change and maybe a little bit more free. We'll wait and see. We are going to do Nick Newman, and then we're going to do Blake Acres to wrap up for today. By the way, feedback on the player previews once they are edited, like with the highlights. I know that that's something that I was getting a lot of comments about that over the last few years, but any feedback for those of you that do watch the player previews, let me know in the comments live now. I don't think I've enjoyed doing previews as much as what I am right now since 2019, 2020.
It's good fun. Yeah. This is good fun.
They are good fun. Yeah. Also, I know the countdown says 60-something days. I think it's 63 today.
63. Yep.
But it's 50 days or 49 days until our first practice match.
I think it's less than that now. I think it's like 45 or something. Yeah, it's coming up quick. It's coming up quick.
Wow.
Earlier start to this season, later finish for us than usual. This off-season has flown. Like, flown. I can get used to this. Like, let's make sure we keep playing finals because I can definitely get used to this.
Exactly. No, 100%. This off season's been a lot more enjoyable. Do you want to do Newman next or Akers?
Nah, let's go Newman. Finish with Akers. I
Newman.
got a lot to say about that bloke.
Okay. About who? Both or Akers?
About both of them, but mostly Akers, as you'd expect.
All right. All right. So Nick Newman, Joe, this was arguably the breakout, most improved potentially player for 2024. And it's not like he was poor in previous years. He was more of a just get your job done. I don't know. Role player might be a little bit offensive to say, but he just went up a level in 24. There was a different era that we saw from him. It was the same Nick Newman, but he just got a lot more of the ball. He did a lot more for us in crunch moments and became so much more reliable for us. How do you reflect on him?
Breakout year at 30 years of age. Like, that's almost unheard of, really.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last player to have like their absolute best career season to date by as much as he did at the age of 30. Finished second in the BNF, which is huge in a prelim year. So, you know, that's not much more to say about Newey. Like, that's everything that you want from every player on our list. Is like, regardless of their age, regardless of their experience, always look to improve, always look to add layers to your game. And to be fair to Newey, since he's come in, I think almost every year he's added another layer to his game. And he just exploded last year. Absolutely exploded. And he played a role that I didn't think he was capable of playing, to be honest. Or not that I didn't think he was capable of playing, but I just never envisaged him playing that role as that defensive midfielder. Like, he was always that hard nut in the back line. Super reliable one-on-one with a small forward and could hold his own. And, you know, but mate, he was racking up disposals at one point in the season, like in the mid to high 30s. So he's now, again, I know we've said it a few times, but he's become so important to this 22 every single week now. One of the first picked.
He's a great example of why it's so important to play as many games as possible in a season. I talk about the compound effect a lot with life. And I think he embodies exactly what that means. And the reason why I say that is he does the basics so well. We spoke about Cerra earlier, and I think he's going to be one that also benefits from this theory if he hasn't already. But Newman was viewed as a guy that's like locked down on the smalls, and that was kind of it. Played 19 games in 22. He played 24 games in 2023. Had this, equality says it here, more animal. He got this confidence and this edge about him that I hadn't seen before as much as what we did in 2023. His kicking is so compact, and he seems to just pride himself on hitting targets. It's I don't know. And then so when I look at 2024 as we move into this era, and, you know, we sort of move Sam Docherty out of the defense, so to speak, more than what we had seen before. And I'm curious to see how that plays out in 24 when you bring in Zach Williams into that mix. How do you see the role evolving, if at all?
I think same role. We just spoke about it with Doc. You know, I think they can interchange in that role, sitting at the back of a stoppage, first to receive the handball, work their way through traffic, get us forward. Like, that you need that sort of a player in the system that we've got in trying to move the ball forward. And I think that they're both capable of doing it. But Newman has shown that he's not just capable, like he's the number one. He's a go-to for me.
Yep.
At a stoppage in 2024 around the ground, that's when I look at our structure. I want to see Nick Newman sitting at the back of the stoppage, because then I've got confidence that even if the ball spills out, he's going to be there, because we saw it time and again and time and again and time and again. He got us out of traffic. He actually knows how to weave his way through pretty difficult situations, which again I just didn't expect from Newey. But now that we've seen it, complete confidence in him to do that. Like if I'm not seeing Newman at the back of a stoppage and it's not Docherty, then there's warning signs for me because we're left vulnerable. There's not that defensive presence. There's no one that's goal side that can, read the play out of the stoppage if the ball's going to spill out and whatnot. So, yeah, I think that role needs to continue and just continue to evolve and just add another layer where he can.
Yeah, this is a curious. I haven't thought about this. I wonder how much his time coaching with the women contributed to him achieving consistency at a higher level.
Good point.
It's a good point.
Great point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he sat out. Sorry, go ahead.
You see the game differently from the coach's box for sure.
Yeah. I mean, look at the numbers. He averages 23 and a half touches a game last season, 15 kicks, 7.7 handballs. He's elite for marking. He takes 8 marks a game, give or take. He tackles 4 times a game, which is elite. The meters gained was the big one that improved this year from seasons gone. And I feel like if you just look at every season he's played, 23 is so far beyond and ahead of any other season he's had. It's such a standout. I've got it up in front of me here. And I don't really feel like we need more from him. We just need this, where he's been able to, take his game, keep it there, and we're good.
My dad, this is probably a really good comparison, and they're not the same. It's not the same position at all, but in terms of the impact in the system, right? It's probably a good comparison. My dad often talks about 95, and he always mentions Earl Spalding, right? And if Earl Spalding wasn't there, Kernahan couldn't do what he did, right? And I get that up forward, right? So that was how we structured in 95. It was very much footy was what it was in the 90s. You had a big key forward. That's who you needed a foil for him. Earl Spalding was that foil. In our system, without Nick Newman, I don't think the midfield group can do what they do. So without Nick Newman in that role, that midfield group doesn't. There isn't. He's almost like a backup plan if it fails and the ball spills out the back. Is how I see it, and I saw it time and again. So I think that's probably the comparison that I would make if you needed to compare to a team from the past or a player from the past. And again, completely different positions, completely different systems, but same impact is how I see Newman in this system.
He is the quintessential Voss player. That's the Voss style of play. I think he's one of them. I think George Hewitt's one of them. I think Adam Cerra's one of them. Got the hard edge. You've got to be hard at the contest to be a Voss type player. That's something we've learned pretty quickly. So no issue there. Those of you at home watching, how do you reflect on what we've been able to see from Nick Newman so far? He's about to enter his 6th season at the Carlton Football Club, which is very exciting. The comfort levels are certainly there now. So let us know in the comments below what you think about Nick Newman heading into season 2024. 5, 6, 7, 8. He's been in the league 9 years. This is his 10th year.
Yep.
It's a long time.
Mr. Consistency across.
And he didn't play in his first 2 seasons. 0-0.
Yep. I remember when he broke out. Well, not when he broke out, but when he played that first season for the Swans, because I remember everyone had him in Supercoach, and he was a fucking gun. He was a gun rookie. And I specifically remember the night I was at Jules's place and we're watching the draft, watching trade deadline, and bottom of the screen, ticker tape, Carlton, Nick Newman, future 4th, whatever it was, a 4th round pick. And I was like, that's the greatest deal of all time. Like this guy is so consistent. We got him for a packet of chips. Takes the game-saving mark against the Swans in an elimination final. There you go.
So his breakout year was 2017. He played 20 games after not playing a single game in his career. 2018, he plays 11. I don't remember if he got injured. Well, let's have a look. He played round 1, round 4, round 11, and then 17 through to the final against the Giants that the Swans lost. So 20 games, 11 games, then straight to Carlton for that future pick. He plays 20 games in his first season. He's a bit unlucky, wasn't he? He broke the leg. He broke his
injured
fibula or
against
something.
Melbourne, wasn't it, in 2020 or something? Yeah.
No fans were there. I remember.
Mm.
Fuck, man.
MCL. I think it was an MCL.
MCL. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Do you remember lockdown?
I've tried to erase it, but yeah. Yeah. How can you forget it? Of course.
Well, I feel like sometimes fans can forget what we went through during lockdown and we can take things for granted.
No.
It wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't. There wasn't. I actually spoke about this with the mate last night. I got quite heated about the fact that we lost 2 years essentially. But what was good about that for Carlton supporters is we didn't have to go to games and watch that shit. That was fucking bad. Like we could turn it off and just forget it. It was like, all right, TV's done for the night. I'm just going to bed. I'm over it.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
Was shit house. That was so
Do
bad.
you think we would have been as bad if there was no lockdown and everything was normal?
No. Things would have been very different. I don't think we would have been. We would not have played as badly. I don't think. I think this team thrives on that noise. Like they've said it themselves. So they do need that energy. And to be honest, I don't think we get Vossi as coach. I think T gets given a crack, which is scary to think. Like, where would we be? But at the end of the day, like that's just how the cards fall, you know.
This is also not incorrect. Other teams would have played better.
Yeah, that's true. That is fair. We do often forget that we don't live in a Carlton bubble.
Maybe it just evened itself out. All right. This has been so quick. We're about to do Acres.
Yep.
Blake Acres. Joe, I'm going to let you take this away. I'm just going to remind you that he's born on the 7th of October, 1995, played 145 games. Talk to me about Blake Acres.
Yep. He's the greatest player to ever pull on boots for this football club. Yep. Build him a statue, build him whatever he wants. Give him keys to the club, whatever. For the rest of his life, whatever he wants from the Carlton Football Club, just give it to him because he has solidified himself as as a cult legend forever among this generation of Carlton supporters. I'm telling you, any of us that have kids in like 20 years time, 18 years time, and there's some young buck that's coming through and they're like, oh, how good's this player? And you're like, mate, you don't know Clutch. You don't know Clutch. We know Clutch. We saw Clutch. And multiple times we saw Clutch. Blake Acres is Clutch. He is, I don't know. Everyone fell in love with him this year, literally. And he was a bit of a whipping boy at times, especially early on. Like his disposal wasn't great, and that's what sort of stood out because we were shit. And like, if he was shit when we were shit, then it was just more shit. And then like, I don't know, kicked a clutch goal against the Saints, which everyone forgets about. Kicks a clutch goal against the Swans, fingertips, hair, whatever it was. Like he was literally in everything. He stopped everything. He won us games. What do you say about Blake Acres? Like, what do you say?
Yeah. My experience watching him is unique because usually when a player comes from another club, Adam Cerra, for example, I'm a little bit surprised. I just wait till trade period and the player comes and then I've never watched them play and they start playing for Carlton and then that's when I learn. Acres, I distinctly remember at the end of 2022, we had been bundled out. Obviously, we lose to Collingwood, but the Acres talk was happening then. And so I took a really keen eye watching him play the last few games of 2022. And they played finals as well, I'm pretty sure.
He was their best. He was Freo's best in that final against the Dogs. He had a huge game that night. I remember I did the same thing. I was like, I'm gonna watch him to see what we're in for here. And I was very impressed. Very impressed.
Yeah. So I was ready for him being this big game player that he was because he was a big game player for Freo, especially in 2022. 23, I still remember round one. I think he might have had a contest which just didn't come off very well and he copped a little bit of heat for it. You know, Carlton supporters were angry.
He dropped a mark on the siren and he could have won us the game in that draw against the Tigers. Yeah.
That's right. And I remember his week after against the Cats, he played a really good game, 26 possessions, and he came out in the media and he actually addressed what had happened in round one. And he said, I let people down, whatever it was. And I really fell for him from that moment because I liked the honesty, I liked the humility, and then he just got more comfortable as the season went on, and then he became possessed. As we got later in the year, there's a passage of play, I think it was when we played, it might have been the semi, I don't even remember, but he ran with the flight of the ball into a pack just to create a contest. When he was injured, he was never going to get the ball, but like when you are not looking at the ball and you're running into a pack coming at you just to create a spillage for your teammates, that is the thing that personifies Blake Acres for me more than the clutch moments.
Yeah. Oh, he's another one that just shows up time after time at each contest. Like you kind of forget about him. Like you kind of forget that he's there, and then he'll do something like, oh, there's Blake. And then like it's like you get to the end of the game, he's like, and you're like, he had like 6 or 7 huge moments today, like out of nowhere. And he had 27 touches and he had all of this impact. So I remember the preseason game against Collingwood at Princess Park last year, which was the first time we obviously saw him in a Carlton uniform. And he was on one wing, Ollie Hollands was on the other. And obviously all the talk about us was we've recruited wingers, so how's that going to change our game plan? I remember me, Jules, and Dan went that day specifically to look at how we structured up. And Ollie, we looked at Ollie and went, he's going to play round one. He's ready to go. Like he's just gut running, works hard. Obviously, disposal a little bit questionable at times, but you could see that Ollie had it. And we looked at Blake, and I remembered I turned to Dan and I went, when's the last time you saw us keep our width on a park? Because Acres just stood there in, no pun intended, acres of space, literally all game, kept his width, didn't care about, didn't get sucked into the contest. He didn't have to be that extra man. He was there, and time and again, the ball found its way to him on that wing, running inside 50. And I went, if that's what we're going to get from him all year, no problem. Like that's the player that we've recruited, and that's a role that he's going to play. Never in my fucking wildest dreams did I think that I'd fall in love with this bloke and he'd give all of us the greatest moment in our footballing lives to this point. Like never ever would, if someone had said to me, he will be your finals player, I would have gone, if he's our finals player, then we're not playing finals because he doesn't have it. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. He's phenomenal. Yeah. He's phenomenal.
He's got it. I think maybe because we've been burned in the past with recruits and maybe a lack of trust with the club, maybe that spills over into new recruits. And, you know, his kicking efficiency was such a talking point throughout the year. And I never felt it the way it was being commented to me, because he's not meant to be pinpoint kicking. When you're a winger, it's a big portion of his role is the territory game and allowing us to move the ball up the ground. That doesn't, I mean, obviously you've got to kick the ball efficiently, but a lot of the time he will kick to a contest or he will kick down the line, or, you know, he will just help us move our men up the field. And I think that gets lost in translation. And I'm hoping that now we've all built this trust with him. He's endeared himself to the club and the supporters, and he's really, you know, immortalized himself with us, so to speak, that there's a bit more trust. You know, I almost feel like if he's not kicking the ball out in the full at least once per game, then it's not Blake Acres. I don't want it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's just the Blake Acres out in the full.
I think he had something like, I can't remember if it was the 3rd or 4th most clangers in the history of our club in a season. But who cares? Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like you said, that's not his role. Like his role is to, one, like you said, gain territory, but 2, make sure that the opposition doesn't gain territory coming the other way. And he runs harder than anyone else on this team to get back behind the footy. He is in everything. Every passage of play, he is there. So, yeah, my trust for Acres on that wing is it'll never, ever be questioned again. You can never question that again after what we saw this year.
No, the work rate is immaculate. I mean, he takes 5.5 marks a game, which ranks elite in the competition. And whether they're uncontested or contested in this regard is irrelevant to me. And the reason why I say that is because, again, we talk about gaining ascendancy with the territory battle. You need to take marks around the ground and be able to do that. I was also taken pleasantly by surprise at how good he is in the contest. When we lost Cerra, when we lost Walsh for those few games in the back end of the season, he started stepping up with his ability to absorb a tackle, just like Walsh and Cerra would, and get the chains moving as well. So there are other uses for him, but when you think about Akers in 2024, how do you? I mean, is it just much of the same? Just do what you normally do, or do you want to see a bit more time?
Yeah,
on ball inside, or
I think having the expectation that he's going to be a match winner for us is probably too high. Like, sure, if he does it again, sure. Like he's just got that clutch gene. We've seen it. He can produce it. We know that he can produce it. I'm not going to be looking to him to produce it, because I think that should be left to the Walshes and the Cerras and the Charlies of the world, right? That is their domain. He played a nice little cameo, and he'll forever be etched in the history of this football club. But I think it would be unrealistic to look at him as, Blake Acres will get us out of tough situations. He probably won't. Like, he probably won't have those moments again, right? That was lightning in a bottle. That's all that was. Potentially, right? I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Happy for you to be wrong.
I'm more than happy to be wrong on that one. But for 2024, it's just more of what we were just talking about then. Work rate, keep your width, keep that structure across the ground for us so that we can get the ball out into space and we can gain territory. And then just keep running two ways like he was all year, and step into the midfield when we need you to. That's it. That is his role. And he played it to perfection and some in 2023. And that additional lightning in a bottle that we got, if he's got more of that, bring it on. If he doesn't, then just play your role, and I'll be more than happy with whatever Blake Acres produces across 2024.
Fair. Nah, it's a fair call. On that note, we'll leave it there. So that's Blake Acres heading into 2024. Let us know what you think in the comments about him. You can reflect on his 2023 if you like, but what do you think about his prospects for 2024? And that's us.
That's it.
That was great.
Beautiful.
Oh, I just saw your message. Can you send me the StreamYard link?
It's fine. I sorted it out. That's all good. That's all good.
Yeah, you're an admin.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but a little reset of Chrome. That's
mate, I'm shitting myself for a moment there. Quality, I missed this. I'd like to see Akers and Hollands not having to spend quite so much time covering down back because we don't have midfielders who can get there.
Fair enough.
We've got some running power in this team now.
Oh, yeah. Out of nowhere.
Walsh, Cottrell, Akers, Hollands.
Cerra.
Yeah.
There's heaps. That comment there, yes and no. Like, it is their role though. Like, their role is to run both ways. Like, they need to be the hardest working runners on the ground every single week as wingers. Like, if you're not doing that, then you're not playing your role. So I understand the sentiment around the comment, but I do expect to see them behind the footy. If they're not running hard enough. Pretty simple.
True. All right. That's us. What do you got on for the rest of the day?
Waiting on this tattoo artist to get back to us. See if that comes through. Otherwise, nothing. I might go grab a beer, a couple of mates, and off into the sunset we go.
Enjoy your Friday. I love that. I love
you.
That.
What are you doing?
I'm going to start getting cracking on these. I'm gonna download this. Start making the thumbnails. I might actually just hang out here. For those of you who are watching and you got nothing else to do, or if you're working from home, I might just hang out here and just create some thumbnails with you. You can actually help me do them. And then tonight, what am I doing? I'm going to the comedy club with my sister.
Lovely.
I think Sam Pang is playing where we're going. So playing or performing. So that's me, man.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I will see you all very soon. What have we got?
All right, mate. We'll see you soon. Thanks for joining.
What's the date? 5th?
It's the 5th of January.
23 days until episode 1, season 4 for us. And
wow.
I'm very excited. Very excited. So
we'll
see you on the 28th of Jan. If I don't see you before then.
I think we'll see you before then.
Definitely. Definitely.
All right, man. You have a good day.
Thank you, mate.
All right. Ciao.
See you guys.
All right. Oh, I've got something for you guys watching. So on the 18th of January, I'm going to Thailand, and I'm going to go do like I don't know what you call it. It's training camp. So 21 days. I'm going to like a rice field in the middle of nowhere, 4 hours north of Bangkok, and I'm doing a Muay Thai / boxing training camp, training twice a day, the whole wellness retreat package. So I will be, fingers crossed, internet is good there. They tell me that it is, but I will be doing a bit of content around that trip. For those of you who are interested in something a little bit different to footy, I will still be doing BA videos while I'm there. I'll just not be in the beautiful studio, but I'm actually looking forward to that. So yeah, look out for that. Something a little, well, very different to what you have normally seen on the channel. So that is that. Now, what I'm going to do is I might share my screen and then show you guys. Sounds like an 80s Canon film. It's a bit like that. It's a little bit like that. I don't think I've ever done this with you guys before. I'm going to show you the magic of making the thumbnails. And we're going to make some right. We're going to make some thumbnails right now. Share my screen. So anybody who actually does this or creates content or is interested, or if you just want to hang out while I do this, you're obviously more than welcome to be here. Where are we? It's there. And I'll show you the little tips and tricks that I have. So why don't we start with Adam Cerra? Let's do that. So for me, it just depends on the photos that are available. I save a lot of photos throughout the year on my phone or whatever, photos that the club will post, and I use them. There's actually some really good ones of Cerra. Maybe they'd be here. No, they won't do. Stand by. Can you actually, maybe you can help. Can any of you think of the best Adam Cerra photos? Like, what comes to mind? Right now, I'm thinking of the photo of him against Freo where he kicks the goal and he's got his arms out like Jude Bellingham. I think Lewis Young might be holding him from behind. That one comes to mind. Jolly Pet, when he scored the goal. Which goal? I think there might be one from the elimination final as well. So basically, I'm looking for like see how I've got this one for boys. So something like that for Cerra, and then something like that where I can overlay it with just him. The goal he kicked in the final, arms out. All right, let me go to that final. Let's have a look. The goal from Sydney game facing the crowd. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Let's have a look. Is there a photo of it? He salutes the crowd against the Swans. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, Rick. Good call. It is Cohen. I only read this recently. I think I just said Cowan, though. It is Cohen. Okay. Adam Cerra. Let's have a look. Oh, yep. I've got the one against Sydney. That is a good photo. I'm going to add it here shortly. I'm going to upload it here right now. So you'll see that pop up. You mean that one? It's a good photo. Yeah, that's the one. Now, I need a photo of Adam Cerra close up. There's so many of them. Favorites. So the thumbnail for this one today, this live stream today, had Adam Cerra in the white uniform, but I want a nice, close, high quality photo of him. That'll do. Yeah, that'll do. All right. Once I upload it in here, you'll see the magic happen. Does anybody do this sort of stuff in their life anyway? Does anybody do any graphic design or anything like that? Got to reload. Game icing smother against Collingwood. Don't know if I've got a photo of that. He's got some nice photos. He's very photogenic, Ches. So what do we think about that? Background remove. So what we do is we want to make this a little bit more darker. See how like you go like there? You want to get some layers going in here. Not this little black duck. Let's make this a little bigger. Is that it? Is that Ches? Is that us? Kate used to play with Photoshop. I actually don't know how to use Photoshop. I use Canva. It's just simplified everything, like absolutely everything. Yep. That's us. Yeah, I think that's us. You can download that. Cerra thumbnail. There you go. There's Cerra right there. Keep it very simple. My whole thing with thumbnails, usually 2 to 3 layers. So you have like a, I don't know, you call this like a hero image or a background image, something with a bit of a close up, a bit of text. Good to go. You don't need to overcomplicate thumbnails at all. Let's go with, I got a really cool shot of Nick Newman, like really cool shot. So that's done. Just make sure that's done. Cerra, done. All right. He looks like he's handballing it to himself. Yeah, we'll take that. I love this photo of Nick Newman. This is from the goal against West Coast from memory. We might have a bit of an issue. Okay. Maybe this is the one where we use him for. We might need a background image. And then he can come out like there. Yep. Yeah, when your template's set out, it's easier. I don't always use. This is my general way of doing thumbnails. I've done it for so long. I just keep it simple. Like, yeah, that's going to sit nice. Now I just need to find a photo of Nick Newman in the background. I don't know if I've got any here. No, Boomin won't work. No. You can AI background generate on Photoshop now. Yes, you can. It's really powerful. You can even do it on this. Do you want to see? So let's just say, for example, let me just delete this. Let's just say, for example, I want to extend this image. So see how it doesn't go all the way here? So let's just do this. You know, if I want to add a little bit there and a little bit there, and maybe even just use that as the thumbnail, I can go edit, magic expand, and then you just expand it. It's a fascinating tool. Doesn't always get it right. I think this one should be fine. Let's have a look. He hasn't got the blue Powerade tongue. Good call. Could probably add some blue there if we wanted. Oh yeah. Look at that. That's cool. What? You would never know. That's the one. I'm actually thinking of doing something a bit different here. Bear with me. Let me know what you think. Hang on. Watch this. Oh. Watch this. Position. What if I did this? Right? If I go. See how he pops a little bit more? You just take a little bit of the background and you darken it. And then I almost think we could use this on its own. Let's have a look. Put that maybe there. No, you don't. So tip with YouTube, don't ever put text here, because on YouTube, it'll show you how long the video is and it'll sit on top of that. I think this should sit here, personally. All right. I think that's fine. I don't think we need that second image, because we expanded here and here, but honestly, you would never know. I don't think so. So let me just fix this. No, that's fine. We down with that? I'm down with that. I'm so down with that. Newman. There's two. All right. Who's next? We need Marchbank. Doc and Acres. Marchbank, Docherty, Acres. I feel like Marchbank's going to be tough. I'm going to do some searching now. We'll go Sam Docherty. Sometimes these players just have like awesome photos where they're on their own, like this Nick Newman one. And other times you got to be a little bit, oh yeah. Oh, got it. All right. Docherty's going to be a 2-image operator. I've got a couple. So there's that one. All right. We've got a few options. We've got a lot of options here. The touch ball against Melbourne for Marchbank. All right. I'll have a look. I don't know if there's a good, clear image of it, but I will have a look. That's a good idea. Thank you. So you got Doc. Another option here. So I'm actually on my laptop now because it's just quicker. And then what I'm going to do is I'll upload it to Canva through my laptop and then refresh the page, and then we're good to go. So there's 2 versions of the doc image for the background, which I'll upload now. And then we've got to find like, do you guys have anything in your mind about Docherty? Any photos of Docherty, like close up, that come to mind? The goal in the prelim would be a great, well, yes. So I'm going to use that. So there's 2 options. There's this, which is a great photo. No issue about that. And I can also then put something here. Or I like this. I know that Fogarty is there, but it won't matter because in my mind, what I can do is I can cover Fogarty with another photo of Doc, and that'll sort of sit there. So I kind of want to see what that looks like. We all know which photo for Acres. Yeah. All right. Let me just find some Sam Docherty images here. What have I got? What have I got for Doc? From memory, like a close-up. Oh. All right. I actually just found another option for Cerra. Yep. But we'll get to that. Sam Docherty. Oh, yeah. Kind of want him facing to the left. There's a good photo of him celebrating his goal against Melbourne in the semi, but he's facing to the right. So we want him facing to the left, if possible. Got it. Oh, perfect. Perfect. I got it. All right. I'll upload it now. All right. So option 1 is this. Rick Sard definitely did that. Oh, see what I mean? Just sort of pops a bit like that. So the question is, for those of you watching, is that it? Is that it? Or is that it? Which one? I think I like the first one. Yeah, I think I like the first one too. All right. So just from memory, the second one. Maybe I'll do this. So we'd need to do this like that. Which one? This one shows the crowd a bit more, although I would probably do this. Yeah. It is a tough pick. It is a tough pick. The bottom one? I think I like the top one now. I mean, you guys pick though. Yeah, that is nice. I could even move this there. No, it's going to go here. Two more front on. Okay, that's better. Yeah, I'm going to go this one. I'm going to go the top one. I think having the crowd in the background a little bit more clear, I think is the win. So I've also got a little bit of a shade here, which I use just to make the text pop a little bit. Do you guys know how long this usually takes me? The fact that I'm doing it here with you kind of keeps me focused. This is great. No mirror logo. No mirror logo? What do you mean? What's a mirror logo? What do you mean by that? Okay. So let me do this. Damn it. So I found a new image of Cerra, and I think I want to use it. Let me just show you what I have found. So I think with Cerra, I want to see as much. I mean, anyway, you'll see what I mean. This instead. Yes, Peter, behind the scenes, mate. This is where the magic happens. So I think this photo is better. The top photo has the reciprocal logo look. So initially I had this. If you guys remember, I think I like this photo better. Giving Papley an uppercut. Yeah. Thoughts? Is it this photo? The only thing is a bit of awkward space here. Unless I did this. Yeah, I think so too. Like, this is a nice photo, but I think this is better. Then what I want to do is try a little something different with you guys. I might add just some shade around him. Just a little bit. Just to make him pop out a little bit more. See, that's too much. That's not enough. So like kind of there. Or we can do this. That's too much. Oh, not bad. No, I like it dark. This one's better. I agree. All right. I might even just make that a bit bigger. Just get rid of his hand. No, that's good. Yeah. That's us. So we go Cerra, thumbnail, final. All right. We have Cerra, we have Doc, we have Nick Newman. We'll leave Akers till last because whatever. Marchbank's tough. So I've actually got a really good photo of him saved here, I'm pretty sure. Where is it? Really good photo. I think it was Jonathan DiMaggio. Yeah. Yeah, Jonathan DiMaggio took this photo like 2024 preseason, like not long ago. I think we'll use this for remove the background. Yeah, I do like that. Might even go like that. Potentially. Just got to find a nice photo of him playing. So like we could sit him in like there. Yeah, that's cool. Any ideas, guys? Someone mentioned a Marchbank photo earlier, like touching the ball, but I don't think there was a good photo of it. I think that was Akers touching the ball, and he's only just touching it. Let's have a look. Caleb Marchbank. Lana, yeah, it's a full operation. It's a full operation. Oh, got a good photo. Got a nice photo of Marchie there. They don't take many photos of him. That's the truth. Intercept against Brisbane. Nah. There's photos of him handballing. There's photos of him kicking. Maybe I can show you where I look for photos. Maybe I can do that. Yeah. Yeah. That means I'm going to stop sharing this for a second. So if we go to latest photos, we're on Getty Images of Caleb Marchbank. See what I mean? Like he's handballing here. Not the worst images, but the ones that really pop. So he's getting tackled. I like this. I feel like that'll sit nicely because he's on the right. Rick, I see what you mean. Marchy. That could work potentially. So far, I'm going to take that one. I've got it saved on my phone. I like it a lot. Ooh. If that was a lengthy photo, that could work. And then these are all 2022. See what I mean? It's tough. It's tough to find photos of him from this year. I think the answer is this one. I think that's the answer. And I think I've got it saved in Canva. Pretty sure I do. Oh, when we get to bins, spoiler alert, how good is that photo? How good is that? Oh yeah, if there's any graphic designers around, message them. Tell them to get in touch with me. Got some work available. Marchy. That was the other Cerra image. I'm sure I put Caleb Marchbank, that photo. I'm sure I put it here. I'm certain. It's also a good one of Newman. There's certain players that are ridiculous, ridiculously photogenic. Oh, that's also a really good shot. I think that might be the one. All right. Left or right? Because that sits perfectly. That'll also sit perfectly like there. Which one? Left or right? Okay. Here we go. Bring him up a little bit. Getting screenshots of game VODs? Yeah, potentially. Potentially. Oof, which one? Okay, top or bottom? Leave it all navy. Yeah, good call. Leave it all navy. Clearly the logo's in there. I might even just bring this down a little bit. I know what I can do. I might do this with him. Let's give him some shade around just to accentuate the difference. No, maybe it's this instead. Okay. Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right. No, I know you're right. Now that all right. It's actually pretty good. Solid. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Peter. That's Marchy. Marchbank. Now we're going to go to Acres. Marchbank done. Now we need Blake. Blake the Snake. God. Let me think about this. What are the iconic Blake Acres images? I think there is the one where he touches it. Got to find it. So good luck. Let's have a look. The winning goal Yeah. I know which one. I think I might have it here. Okay. Oh, that's against St Kilda. All right. There's options. We are spoilt for choice. We'll just place that there. That is also another one that can be used for, remove the background. We can place that there. I do believe we need to have, Peter, you're right. We've got to have some sort of representation from the semi-final. No doubt about that. I'm with you. So let's find it. All right. I know what you're talking about. It's tricky though. It's tricky. I'll explain in a minute. He has a steely look in his mince pie. Oh yeah. Yes, sir. Okay. You want a minute? On the bench in excruciating pain after his goal. You know what? I feel like I'll be able to find it. All right, let's just do this for a sec. What if we did this? Bit of that. Just bear with me. Let me refresh. That is also true. Getting it in the navy blue jumper is kind of important, but if the photo is good, the photo is good, right? If I go, boom. Yeah. Okay. I think that's going to work really well. I know Ed Kerno's in the background, but that's okay. Let's go back to Getty. See what we can find. Ban the white. You don't like the white? I don't mind the white. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Let's go newest or maybe best match. Maybe most popular. Already on it. Okay. So there's the other option. We could use this instead of this for the background image. What do you think about that? No, we're going to do this. We're going to do newest. Better than what? No, Rick? Okay. Oh, yeah, that could work for the background potentially, and you put like something on the side there. That's the semi-final shot, but I feel like as a thumbnail, you're not really going to see it. Okay. I've got an idea. I'm thinking, what if we did that one and we darkened the background? I think that's it. I think that's it. Oh, that's also a sick photo. Such a sick photo. He's got so many. Oh, okay. There it is there. There is that one. Could do an image where you got that, and then you've got like another version of him sitting here. All right. You got goosebumps? To be fair, it's a great shot. It's a great shot. I know what I'm going to do. You like that one? Okay. True. I guess it tells the story of both. Gorn's touch as he costed the game. Yeah, he did. He did. So if I go that, which I can't. See, Blake's unique because he's got images that tell a story. The others, not so much. All right. All right. Well, we got options. Options. That's what we've got. We've got 1, 2. Let's just remove this for a sec. Move that for a sec. All right, so we can do this. Oh, guys, you're right. I was wrong. It's absolutely this. Oh, that's brilliant. And then we go like that with a little bit of... My only issue is he's leaning back, so it's going to look a little weird. See? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. What do you think? If we did this. Still good? Do you get what something's not sitting right. It's just not right. It's just a little awkward. It's just a little bit awkward. What if I know what it's going to be. These are the options. Could do that. Could do that. Or could do this. See what I mean? Yeah. I think that's... I know this is a great moment and a great photo, but it kind of needs to be sitting there. And if it's sitting there, it's a good shot. If it's sitting there, then the background photo won't work. So I think this is what we want. I think this is the magic. Make that a bit bigger. Feel me? And then I probably would add a little bit of shade just to separate that a bit. Oh, guys, this is us. This is us. Peter. Can you manipulate? Okay, good call. Good call. I'll try that. That's actually not a bad call. Make sure we get that done. How do I do that? Hang on. Oh, yeah. So yes, I can. But again, it would be so much better sitting there. And we don't have an image of, you know? I think this is us, personally. I might even just make it a little... You lose the swan head. Yeah, I think this one is the winner. Now this, isn't there a way we can bring it? Yeah, see, if we bring it a little closer to him, it's even better. Oh, look at that. Then you don't have writing over the top of him. Then oh, sorry. You get me? I think that's it. I think that is it right there. That's Blake. That's just, I mean, just for the sake of showing you what else could be done here. like with an image like that, I would straight up get that as dark as possible in the background. And then I would just straight up lose the background there. That's cool. Anyway, maybe for another video. Yeah, see, for me, that's us. That's Blake. Acres thumbnail. Yeah. All right. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. There's a little cheeky 2-hour stream for you on a Friday afternoon. What are some of you doing for the rest of your Friday? What happens now? Lana, I wouldn't say I'm a tech head. But I think the years of doing it, you just kind of get a base level of knowledge. Like, I'm definitely not perfect. Oh, the cricket, true. Might rewatch the semi-final after today. I think you might have to. The cricket. What's the status of the cricket? Cricket, Pakistan. Oh, wow. We're still batting. Great. Game over, mate. Nearly dinner time. Dinner. James picked up your car from a costly service. Ugh. The worst, man. The worst. Ugur, hello. Welcome. Last week of relaxation. Back to work on Monday. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I think that's the case for most people. I know Joe was the same. But yeah, we've just done a nice, healthy 2 hours live here on stream, doing all our previews. I'm going to end the stream shortly. I could wait. Oh, it's a little bit too much of a mess around when I put the highlights in to share screen and do it. But I have to do that off stream. But if you guys want to see a bit more of that, what we just did, like doing the thumbnails, I would love to have some company when I do the thumbnails. Have I done today's grid? No, I haven't. Should we? Should we do today's grid? All right. We can do some grids. One sec. Rick, what are you selling? A 996 1999 Docherty classic style. Had that much positive feedback for it. So why are you selling your treasure, mate? Hold on to it. Guys, who's a Carlton player that had 25 plus disposals in a final? Ooh. I reckon. Yeah, James, that's pretty cool. "25 possessions in a final? Rattles. True. Wait. Play again. We need it was this one here. We need like low percentage. I'm actually going to go here, top 5 draft pick at Carlton, that played for Carlton. I feel like Lockie Plowman was pick 2. He was. Played in a draw and 25 plus disposals in a final. Oof. Travis Boak. They drew with Richmond 1 year, last game of the season. And I reckon he's had 25 in a final. Yeah. There you go. Played in a draw and played in the 2000s. Kate Simpson played in a draw when we drew to Essendon in 2011. And he played in the 2000s. I wonder if that'll be popular. Nah. There you go. Played in a draw and a top 5 draft pick. Adam Cerra played in a draw, round 1 against the Tigers. He's a top 5 draft pick. I don't know if Paddy Dow played in round 1 against Richmond. Nah. Gibbs? Did Gibbs play in a draw? Oh, he would have played in the same draw that Simo did. Okay. So therefore Murphy did. Therefore Judd did. Played in a draw, top 5 pick. Wiedering. Okay. Top 5 draft pick. Cruz. I mean, so like Dusty, by that logic, technically. Cochin. Cochin was pick 2. He played in the draw this year. Top 5 pick. I'm going to go with Cerra. Did Lockie O'Brien play in round 1 this year? No, he didn't. Cerra. Played a draw. Top 5 pick. Perfect. Amazing. Carlton player that played in the 2000s. Obscure. Let's do this one. Obscure. Carlton player. Kate, spot on. The more you play, the better you get. Carlton player that played in the 2000s. Reel him off. Bentic. I'm going to roll with that. I like it a lot. Yeah, good call, Peter. Carlton player that had 25 or more disposals in a final. So if we go to like 09, 010, I don't know how many possessions Richard Hadley had in our final against the Lions in 09, but I feel like he would have had 25 possessions in a final. Judd, Gibbs, Murphy all would have done this. Walsh, Cripps, Akers. So a Carlton player who had 25 possessions or more in any final. Heath Scotland played for Collingwood and he played in the losing grand final. Andrew Walker. Don't know if he had 25 in a final, though. Hmm. 25 in a final. Who are the options here? Do it tell us? No, that's Gridley. Bradley. Well, we did Bradley, but he was like 8%. So we want someone that's, 1%. Less than 5% would be ideal. Diesel, yeah, definitely would have had 25 in a final. Who are some of the other midfielders who, like Campriali? He would have had 25 in a final, I would have thought. Who are some of the guys from the Flaggy 95? Like Barry Mitchell. That's the type of player. I don't even know if he had 25 in the final, but like these types. Milhana, would he have had 25 in a final though? Because if he did, that's the answer. Milhana. Fraser Brown. Like Kuda. Kuda would have for sure had 25 possessions in the final. In fact, he probably had 25 or more in that Essendon prelim. But I think Kuda's too popular of a name. I'm going to go with Kuda many. You know what? Let's just see. Okay, solid. Under 5%. Richmond player who had 25 possessions in any final. I'm going to go Ben Cousins because he played a few games for Richmond. Ben Cousins, and he had 25 possessions in a final for someone else. All right. Someone who played for Richmond and also played in the 2000s. What was the name? Well, Robin Nahas played for Richmond. He played in the 2000s. There you go. Richmond top 5 pick. Who's the guy they took instead of Buddy? Oakley Nichols? Is that him? Was he a top 5 pick? No, he wasn't. I rushed. If Maz is in the comments, she won't be happy with me. Oh, well. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Guys, it's been an amazing 2 hours and 12 minutes. Thanks for tuning in. Got some previews done. We also got some thumbnails done. And that was fun. So we'll get these out shortly. I've got a few more videos, non-preview, player preview videos to film over the next week or so. And then we'll go from there. So stay tuned. The BA show will be back on Monday, by the way. So Monday night, 7 p.m. Back to regular programming. Yeah, thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. See you soon.